Hello everybody, welcome back. Why am I saying welcome back? It's me coming back. Anyway, hello to me, to be back here. So anyway, I did mention, I don't know if I did, but last year a new comedy TV series on Channel 4, I think it started, called Everyone Else Burns. I think it's called that. Let me just check. Hold on, I took a picture of it. Everyone Else Burns, yeah. And of course, when the first episode came out, everyone went, "Oh my God, this is about the Jehovah's Witnesses," without referencing Jehovah's Witnesses. And I think the first episode was probably the best episode, and after that, it sort of the references sort of dissipated a bit, and probably all the funniness for Jehovah's Witnesses. So anyway, we're back into season 2 again, and. This is, last night was, I watched 2 last night, the penultimate episode and the final episode in the season, which may be the end of the actual programme in its entirety. And there was just some amazing things that happened in it, which I just want to reference. So a few spoiler alerts here. But anyway, coincidentally, when Benjamin came back from America, New Order were playing in Wythenshawe Park, I think it's called, in Manchester, and I said to him, he came back on like Friday, like New Order playing on a Sunday. I said, "Do you want to go and see New Order?" New Order were my band from like February 1981 for the next 20 years or whatever. And he says, "Oh yeah, I want to go see New Order." And I thought, whereabout is this? It's Wythenshawe Park. When I Google mapped it, I realised it was the end of Palatine Road. And Palatine Road is where Factory Records had their base, which was in the bottom flat of a guy called Alan Erasmus, who was one of the directors of Factory Records. But more important than that, on Palatine Road was the assembly hall for the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses, for the Circuit Assembly, that little assembly hall in Manchester, which was a converted cinema. And of course, I spent, we went there twice a year for, I don't know how long, we used to do our circuit assemblies in Pontins or Butlins in Wales, but all of a sudden, once they built that, we went there, so I must have gone there, I don't know, maybe twice a year for 20 years, and I also got baptised in there. When I was looking for somewhere to park, you could park at the festival, but it was like really expensive, and I just thought, I'm sure I can park. I was going, if memory serves me, I can just park next to the assembly hall. So I came off the motorway, turned left, and there it was. And I hadn't seen this assembly hall for 35 years. I think I went there when we were about married 3 years, and that was the last time I went. About 35 years since I've been to this place. And I went, oh my God, there is the assembly hall, circuit assembly hall in Manchester, where I, funny enough, got baptised in 1980. And a lot of memories came flooding back, and I parked to the side of it and told my son I got baptised there. And he says, "You told me you never got baptised." I'm thinking, no, I never said that, because I did. And we went to the gig, and the gig was fantastic, and one of the last songs he did was a wonderful song called Bizarre Love Triangles, which is one of my favourite New Order songs. So anyway, we drove back up the road, and that was it. And then we just started watching. All of a sudden, Everything Else Burns came back on the TV tonight. The penultimate episode was actually entitled A New Order. If anybody has watched this series, they realise they do not reference Jehovah's Witnesses, but try to make it obvious, if you're a Jehovah's Witnesses, that they are referencing Jehovah's Witnesses. For instance, our final episode last night, our main guy was told that he was going to be excluded from the order. In other words, disfellowshipped without saying disfellowshipped. So he was excluded from the order, and exactly at the same time his wife was having a breakdown trying to think, what have I been doing? And she approaches another elder, and she says to the other elder, would you ever consider leaving, did you ever think about leaving the true love? So not because the witnesses refer to as the truth, but they refer it to as the true love. And he sort of turned around to her devastated and said, if my wife had wanted to leave, I would have left. And she was like, it sort of blew her mind. And then all of a sudden this realisation of what have I been doing in my life dawned on her, and she came up with this rant. And at the time, it was, for those who don't know the witnesses, they probably would have thought it funny, but I was really sad at this point, and I kept on thinking about it as during the night. I found it hard to sleep last night, because this is what she said. She said, I could have left 20 years ago. I stayed, and I went to church 8 times a week. Didn't go to uni, never drank. I was such a good girl. Now, with my youth over, what is the point? What is the point of all of it? And I just thought, oh my God, that is so how I felt when I realised that it was a lot of rubbish. And then at that point my youth had gone, and you think of all the opportunities that you could have gone to university, you could have had a career, you could have been an athlete or a sports person or been in a band or whatever it is, but you unfortunately decide to do none of that to stay in so you could get through to the new order. And so you dedicated all your life, going to people's doors and attending meetings. And I remember when it happened to me, when that realisation came, I was utterly devastated. And I think this is probably it was the hardest thing I had to do in my life. And I think this is what people who are still in the witnesses, they can't face that realisation, because they're thinking now, in their cases, dedicated 50 years, 60 years. If they're going to turn around now and say, it's what have I done? I've wasted all my life. I don't no longer speak to my kids, and no relationship with my grandchildren. Their life will see utterly, meaningless and pointless. And as she says, what is the point of it all? So yeah, it was. I felt really upset when I watched it, because I could just feel her pain, even though she was an actress who's never had to live the life that we had to live. There's other funny moments in it. So there's a lighter bit in it where the previous episode, I think, her daughter was holding hands with her boyfriend, and their chaperone shouted, now then, none of that. You wait till your wedding day for that. So there are all funny things in it. But that at the end was, I don't know, it was just the poignancy of it, of the realisation that she's just wasted her life for 20 years. And for many, in my case, it was 28 years. And for others, it's even bloody longer. And to sum it up, the irony of this, because eventually, during this programme, and I had to double take various times, and they may have used this building in previous episodes, or last series, I can't remember. But most of this is filmed in Manchester. And they were having this wedding inside their church. But it looked exactly like the Manchester Assembly Hall. Yes, it was a former cinema, which had been converted into this religious building. And I was literally double taking it, going, is it? Is this really it? And then you saw an external shot of it, and it looked just like the Manchester Assembly Hall, but a little smaller version. It was messing with my brain. I was watching this thinking, what the? And it's clearly the people who've made this probably went to the Manchester Assembly Hall of the Jehovah's Witnesses on Palatine Road, Wythenshawe, and went there, and he says, right, when we do this final scene where they're going to be having this congregational wedding, we've got to find a little cinema, ex-cinema, just like the Assembly Hall, that I'm sure that one of these guys who created it must have gone to. It's too much of a coincidence. And the biggest coincidence of this is right at the end, in saying what I said about a new order, and the fact that just in the beginning of August, that me and Benjamin went down to see the new order, and part next to this Assembly Hall is that just there, at the end of the programme, a DJ turns in and says, I am the DJ for the wedding tonight, and he says, oh, just come in. And next thing is, he puts on a song, and the song he plays at the end of this programme, where everybody dances, is Bizarre Love Triangle by New Order. There you go. what are the chances? It's just like do 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 do. You know, these sorts of things. I love things when you get these things happen in your life. And you go, oh my goodness, what's the chances of that actually happening? Especially as I was just outside that assembly hall, beginning of August, went to see New Order, and they played Bizarre Love Triangles to watch a programme with a smaller version of that very assembly hall, and a programme based on, you know, the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they played Bizarre Love Triangles. It's a funny old world, isn't it? Anyway, it amused me that bit, but I was still, you know, thinking about the things that she'd said before that. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that amusing story with you, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. I'm off. Bye-bye.